Would you like to start your own business? Hi, my name is Levon Brock. I want to talk to you for a few moments about self-employment. You are the hardest or one of the hardest working employees on your job. And no one will ever pay you like you would pay yourself. If you work hard, you should get paid hard. You've been sitting around for months, sometimes years, waiting for someone to give you a raise or promotion, which somebody else gets the promotion that you deserve. And many of the employers, they threaten you, like I had employers to threaten me before I became self-employed. Now, 28 years I've been self-employed. And I recall about 40 years ago, close to 40 years ago, one job. I'm a hard worker. I've always been, always on time, not a person calling in sick or any of that kind of stuff. And I remember about 40 years ago, it was winter time and it was snowing outside, and my throat was a little scratchy. I wasn't, sick, but a little scratchy throat. So I said, I'm going to take the day off so my symptoms don't get any worse. Didn't really think much of it because I never taken the days off. So I took the day off, called in, took the day off. When I came back to work the next day, as soon as I walked in the door, the manager said, "Don't let that happen again." I'm like, talking to me? I said, bye. See, because I knew my worth and I knew what kind of support that I brought to the job and what I was offering. And so I'm sure that because I was so committed that the manager thought that he could say anything that he wanted to say to me as if I couldn't do without that job. And I did need a job, but I didn't need that abuse. And so I said, bye. Now he had to figure out who was going to do the work that I was doing because he was planning on me working that day. Why did I abruptly leave like that? Because I knew my worth. And there are times that you can't even have a discussion with an employer about what your worth is because they believe that you need them more than they need you. So there was no reason for me to have any discussion about why you talking to me like that because the mindset was already there that he believed that he could say what he said to me. So I said bye and went right back out the door. And then I had my last full-time job 28 years ago. My employer, I had bought a home. And then I bought a brand new van. Never had a new vehicle in my life. And the employer that I was working for, small company, he knew about the house, but he didn't know about the van. And so he found out about this brand new van that I had, and his attitude changed. And so one day he came up to me and said, "You need this job," in a provoking manner. But I ignored him. I acted as though I didn't hear what he said, even though he was standing right in my face. So then he said, "Why aren't you saying anything?" Well, I said to him, "I don't have nothing to say." You know why? Because I had a plan in my mind. And that plan was self-employment, but you better believe I wasn't going to tell him. And so after I quit, it took the employer and two other grown men. It took three men to do what I was doing all by myself. That confirmed what my value was, what my worth was. And many times you're doing the work of two or three people. You know what I'm talking about, but you're not being compensated for it. And many times the reason why you won't quit a job because you're afraid. You think that there's nowhere to go. And many times there is nowhere to go. But self-employment can offer you that opportunity that nobody else will provide for you. And then like the stressful co-worker environment, dealing with these stressful co-workers, they get on your nerves. I know what I'm talking about. Not everybody have that situation, but there are many environments working with co-workers. It's like, oh God, I got to deal with her. I got to deal with him again. But self-employment, what it does, it gives you, it doesn't just gives you the ability to make decisions, but it empowers you to make decisions freely because you're not under control of the employer because you are self-employed. And I remember also one occasion where a young lady told me years ago, we're talking about before I became self-employed, so we're talking about close to 30 years ago, that she said that in order to be able to use the restroom, they had to ask for permission, and sometimes they would have to wait a whole hour before they would get permission to use the restroom. And that's some crazy stuff. So I know if that was these things that I'm talking about that happened to me 30 and 40 years ago, I know those things still occur today. But those things provoked me more so than anything to look out further for compensation for what I knew that I was worth. And I found out through working for different jobs that nobody, as I said earlier, nobody will ever pay me like I would pay myself. And yes, it took a lot of faith to step out. And at the time that I stepped out working for myself, being self-employed, I was married with small children, 10 years old, 9, 8, young children. But I believed in God and I believed in myself. Two things, two elements, God and myself. Some people believe in God, but you don't believe in yourself. Some people believe in themselves, but you don't believe in God. I tell you one thing, if you believe in God and you believe in yourself, God is the greatest partner, business partner that you could ever have. Because one thing about God, he's going to always back you up. He's going to always make sure he does his part. The thing is, you're a hard worker, right? You're committed, right? You do all that for the employer. Why don't you try to do what you do for somebody else for yourself? And trust God with what he will do. And seek God about the instructions. Do your research and get the wisdom that you need to be able to start your own business. Now, the only person that can change your business or employment future is you. You can claim for the rest of your life. You can talk about, you tired of your job and you tired of this and people getting on your nerves and you don't know what to do. And in many cases, if you're 30 years old, you got about 40 years before you can retire, before you can receive some Social Security. In other cases, if you're 40 years old, that means you got about 30 years. If you're 50 years old, you got about 20 years before you can retire. I'm giving you a general estimate of how long it's going to take you to retire to receive money that you have paid out. You got to wait 40, 30, and 20 years to receive it. And most people, by the time they're my age, I'm 63 years old. By the time you get that age, you're sick, you're burned out, you're worn down, you got all type of health issues, or you're already dead. And that money that you paid out, if there's no wife or children under 18, there's nobody to receive that money. So the state gets that money. I'm just trying to give you a whole nother mindset, not something that I think that I know, something that I heard about, some book that I read, but I've actually experienced the freedom and the power of self-employment for now 28 years. And as I said, I've been blessed to work an average of less than 10 hours a week for 25 of the 28 years. And that's my testimony. And I would like to offer to anyone who's interested in starting your own business 5 free hours of business consultation. There's no strings attached. It's just something for you to consider and compare to what you have to look forward to for the rest of your life as it concerns or relates to your employment. And of course, you can reach me here on Facebook, or you can contact me by phone at 757-406-0887. God bless you.